Arthaus.
This is
Yeah.
Arthaus. I don't know the number. I'm gonna stop just trying to remember the numbers because I just do too many of these now, and yeah, they all kind of blend into one. So Alexander Juan Antonio Cortes is a fitness influencer. He's a longtime personal trainer, now turned. What do you call yourself now? Just like a fitness writer, fitness philosopher, guy.
I don't call myself anything. I don't call myself anything, honestly. I'm
Okay.
trying to. Yeah, no, I know it's a valid question. Like, what do you do? I'm like, I don't fucking know at this point. Like, I've been trying to find like a good label for myself the last 4 years. I'm like, is it bro philosophy? Am I an email marketer? Do I just shit post on Twitter and then try to say smart things half the time? Like, am I still a personal trainer? I'm like, this is an amalgamation of everything I've ever done. Like, yeah, so there's no. I just say like I'm myself. I have an internet-based business. It's fitness-based, and whatever that means to you means something.
You write emails, you work out, and you tweet.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm basically right now. I'm living basically the gym tan laundry life with fucking Corona.
What are you drinking right there?
Oh, there's these Japanese black coffees. So
Ooh.
Japanese shit's like the best stuff in the world for so many things. I don't know what it's actually called. It just says black on it, but it's like incredibly smooth, like zero sugar, like 0 calorie, iced coffee. And these, I fucking love these. I get like 40 of these a week. They're amazing.
Nice.
I mean, they're these little, you can see, they're like my hand, like.
Yeah, there's like a mini cup.
Yeah, it's like these little cans. So they're not that big, but.
Yeah, man. So, as everyone kind of knows, like and experiencing, we've been in this quarantine pandemic from the coronavirus,
Mm-hmm.
and that's definitely affected, training and how we, approach the gym just as a whole. So, how has it affected you personally from like where you were and, when you're in the States to now?
Well, of course, with gym being closed, when I got to Bangkok, we have a pretty good gym in the apartment building that I live in, and then that got closed. So what I did was I ordered. So I mean, I have discretionary income, and I ordered a bunch of kettlebells immediately. So I got 3 kettlebells actually. Got to 24 kilos. Got set 32 kilo. I got rings. I have a TRX. I have bands. So, and then the building as well has a very extensive outdoor pool area with cabanas where you can hang stuff up pretty easily. So I've been training outside, basically doing like essentially like very like serious calisthenics training with some a little bit of kettlebell stuff mixed in.
Mm-hmm.
But I've been loving it. Like I'm outside in the sun, I'm sweating. It feels great. So I mean, it definitely changed my training.
What's the temperature in Bangkok right now?
It's in the like the mid 90s here, pretty much every day. So like 90 to 95, 96. It's not cool at all. It's pretty humid. But the heat's been great. Like I've actually
training outside in the sun. That must be amazing.
Yeah, no, honestly, I like it better than the fucking gym. Like the thought of going back to the gym now, I'm like, there's certain exercises that I definitely miss doing, like being able to incline bench, doing like seal rows. There's a few machines like leg press. There's things obviously that I like to do that I find very effective that I think are fairly superior, in their overall training effects. But on a day-to-day basis, it's fucking awesome. Like training outside is the way to train. Honestly, like if like obviously gyms are indoors, of course, but if everybody could, I would encourage them. Like if you can set up an outside home gym that's in the fucking sun, you are literally metaphorically golden.
Sun and steel.
It feels incredible. It feels incredible.
Have you read Mishima by any chance?
A little bit. I've read I started a few of his books. And he has like I've read a little bit like probably 20 pages in like his memoirs.
Mm-hmm.
He has some guys. He's an interesting guy, very interesting guy. He has some good shit. He has that. It's a quote of his. What was it called? It's like the seduction of words, where he talked about the first half of his life, where he was a writer, mm-hmm. and he crafted these stories, and he was very much introverted and didn't really inhabit his body.
Mm-hmm.
And then when he kind of discovered his physique and his physicality, so to speak, in his mid-30s, he completely changed his whole perspective on everything he ever did. Even his perspective on all the books he wrote. Like prior to that, he's like, I don't consider those even valid stories in a way.
Yeah,
because they're written by a man who didn't really live.
Right.
So,
right.
Yeah, pretty fascinating guy.
Everything before was is useless now. It doesn't mean
Yeah.
anything. I think that's a
Hmm.
very key, just as a philosophical talking point. That's a very key aspect to think about, because a lot of philosophers, they don't inhabit their body. It doesn't mean like you have to be a Dorian Yates power lifter to have valid ideas, but the fact, if you're so completely absent from your body in any way, in terms of biology, in terms of nutrition, in terms of training, then that has to affect your ideas in a negative way. Has to.
Of course. So, well, what do you really know about life? That's something that even I've I've jokingly said, and probably it's probably true. Like I was probably smarter when I was younger because I read a lot more, and I was very into like the sort of like the intellectual, what I call like brain candy questions.
Mm-hmm.
But I realized at a certain point that a lot of it's just not, it's both redundant and it's just largely pointless.
Mm-hmm.
It's very easy to get off on yourself and like your big brain ideas, reading Karl Popper, reading even reading Jung, reading Nietzsche. You can go back. You can probably Aristotle, Plato, a lot of the Greek philosophers. They had some pretty useful, pragmatic philosophies or just ways of thinking you can apply. But a lot of what guys focus on today, like I mean, I follow the whatever you want to call it, alt philosophy, right, on Twitter a little bit, and they guys you can just tell like they're it's this autist sort of fantasy where you can understand the word through polysyllabic fucking screeds. Yeah, a lot of it's just bullshit.
Yeah.
It's a lot of bullshit.
Well, yeah. I
And
mean, if you can't, like, I think if you can't live your philosophy, then it doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean anything, really.
well, most people don't really have a philosophy. That's the most philosophers don't really have a philosophy. They have a way. They have a way of thinking about their thinking that they fucking fall in love with. But their actual lives are really not that impressive. Yeah. So I mean, if you go off of the assessment, like what is a man? A man is his deeds, not his words. The majority of men that have lived that have written philosophical shit, they haven't really done anything. And
No.
everyone that fucking was really into their shit was just another bunch of dudes that haven't really done anything.
Yeah.
So like probably 17th century, it's 18th century Enlightenment was like the modern day equivalent of like fucking Reddit. Like you go on and you think you're like getting real smart reading all this shit. Like you're still fucking on your computer, or you're in the salon listening to someone fucking talk. And wow, that's like you think like, wow, I'm so smart now. I know all these cool things. No, you fucking don't. Look at you. You're still fucking skinny. Who gives a shit what you think? Nobody.
I remember there was I don't know if this was a tweet or just something like a meme I saw, but it was like this girl, like we were reading Descartes in class, and this girl raised her hand, and like when she asked like when the teacher asked like what did Descartes mean, what does philosophy mean, whatnot, the girl raised her hand and said, I think he's just thinking way too hard about this shit. It's like, yeah, there's a point there.
Yeah, women are good filters for truth that way, since most philosophers don't get laid at all and never did. That's why, like, Nietzsche got friend zoned like so fucking hardcore, and it ruined his whole life. You actually like read his story.
Yeah.
Like that's literally why he went insane because I forget the woman's name, but she was a philosopher herself, and she basically friend zoned like him and a buddy at the same time, and then they traveled together for like 2 years, and she wouldn't sleep with either of them, and then both dudes like went fucking mad, like fucking this ridiculous beta cuck shit.
I think
So
yeah
then
I
you read,
Yeah, you have to figure too. Like a lot of these people, they have trauma, like you just said. They have these
mm-hmm,
things that happen to them in life, and you gotta figure like how much of their what they wrote down was cope. Like even if it is like a good idea, like
a lot.
like the Ubermensch idea, right? That's a very
Mm-hmm.
interesting idea to ponder. Like a man that can create his own values and forge his own way in the world. It's a very
Oh
interesting
yeah,
idea. It's like
yeah.
but at the same time, like how much of that is just cope that you couldn't get laid.
Yeah, no, basically, I'll probably like 80% of it. I mean, it doesn't necessarily invalidate the idea, but you do want to
No.
always
Yeah.
take people's ideas in the context of their actual life. Like it's gotta be the meta point if I should distill it down to something useful.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, like that was Nietzsche's story, but
Do you
yeah,
think that
yeah, like I'm
one of the
good.
things that you've been doing recently is you've been doing those like there's like Rich Piana Nietzsche Nietzsche posts where you have the Rich Piana picture and he's
Oh
all like
yeah,
the
yeah.
barbell, and it's just like the way forward is looking into the abyss of the greater humanity.
Hmm.
Like what was your spark for that? Because that seems kind of parallel to this.
I find that shit fucking hysterical, and I wrote about this kind of in like my Tahoe Bro, which I've been like slowly working on, where the best advice you oftentimes are going to get in life, like truly wise advice, not just, I almost say like advice, the best wisdom you'll get in life typically does not come from the most intellectually minded men. Some things, yes, some things absolutely, indisputably, okay. But most of what is practically true on a daily basis and pragmatically true, useful,
Mhm.
whether it's the ultimate truth, who gives a shit? Is it true on a daily basis where it's useful? It's going to come from men that typically are not intellectually, I don't want to say intellectually underdeveloped, but they're not intellectually prioritized that way. So Piana, I don't think anyone would consider Piana a genius. Like, oh my god, no one's gonna look at Piana and think this is a god of how to live. Like obviously he's probably has his own level of narcissism. He looks how he looks. He looks absolutely ridiculous. But
Yeah.
that hits certain trigger points in everybody's psyche where okay, this guy incredibly emphasizes the external. Yet at the same time, he has this incredible level of ego where he is very invulnerable to criticism because you couldn't look that way and be fragile. You
Right.
can't. People can talk about how bodybuilders have fragile egos, and on some level, like, yes, they do. On another level, they're quite invulnerable because you're going to be judged every day of your life. People are going to look at you like you're a freak. You're going to be criticized. You're going to be disregarded. You're going to be deemed non credible. So it actually cultivates like a very interesting sort of paradox of like very strong values and great personal resiliency while also pursuing something that most people would consider utterly mad. And that's really Rich Piana. And that's what really captured people with Rich, because if you watch some of his videos, which I didn't get into watching any of his shit until recently, just because I was bored basically. But I've watched his stuff. I'm like, Rich is actually quite wise, and
Hmm.
he's very genuine. He's a genuine guy. He was very wise. He was considerate. He was kind to people, and he was living life as how he was truly an Ubermensch. He was living a life, and this is according to what he wanted to do, exactly how he knew, how in a way that was fulfilling for him. And so when you juxtapose these philosophical quotes with Rich, one level it triggers dissonance of like, Rich would never fucking say that. Like, how dare you disrespect Nietzsche boy with attributing his bullshit to Rich. But at the same time, you're like, Rich probably was more niche than Niche was. Honestly, he really was.
Yeah.
Rich didn't get friend zoned. I mean, Rich got ripped off by his green card wife, but Rich was getting pussy. Rich had friends. Rich was fucking killing chest every day and fucking getting high. He was already getting high off his own supply, man. He'd go fucking train any body part. You could tell he's just like in a state of like pure primal, focused rage, ecstasy, joy of like,
Yeah.
doing this shit. I'm like, that man knew how to live. He
You
knew how to
you
live.
you saw him like every time you see his training videos, it's not the normal face for the guys, like the athlete next thing where they're like, he's like, taking in everything when he's doing
Oh,
his
he's into
training.
it, man. And I saw Rich train because I actually went to the same gym that he went to for a period of time, like North Hollywood Golds. I saw him work out, and he would train for legit like 3 hours almost every single day,
Mhm.
and he would get into his fucking exercises on a level that just no one else did.
Yeah.
And like, I
You didn't
mean,
go
people can
over. You
accuse him
didn't
like,
go over and try to start a conversation. You just like stayed. You just stayed away.
no, I mean, he was very friendly. Like he was not antisocial in the way of like, don't come fucking near me. But like when he would get into like a groove doing an exercise, he was in a very trance like state.
Yeah.
Definitely was. Definitely was. Um, and so, I mean, some people can say like, well, he took Centol or he injected shit. I'm like, I've no doubt he used shitloads of drugs, obviously. But at the same time, like his physique, which was quite freakish, it was a product of his mindset. I mean, I don't say his mindset. It was a product of his mind and his mentality more than anything else. It was not just the drugs.
Oh shit! Apparently people can't hear this. Well, okay. Well, we'll just continue because can't stop it now. We'll have to figure that out on the next episode.
That's funny.
But
Well, record it and post it later. Maybe that'll
yeah,
work.
yeah. It's gonna be fine. The one of the big things that you brought up there is like how kind of the lower level sort of truths are the ones that can get you off your ass the most, right? Those are the ones that can
Hmm.
punch you. And it got me thinking about like there's that term lowbrow, highbrow, middlebrow, and how like the highbrow content, it's like very transcendental and like it's kind of like the Nietzsche stuff, where like it's very intellectual, very stimulating, like very new ideas. But the lowbrow stuff is what's going to bring you back down to earth. And there's a
Yes.
purpose for both of those. Like you want to have the highbrow stuff, so you have ideals to transcend towards and have visions and you can like articulate your mission properly, but also you want the lowbrow stuff to just bring you back down to earth. Be like, you're a human that's fucking up too. You have problems. You're not perfect, and having a mix of those is absolutely key, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, the highbrow, lowbrow. Like I'll give like a story about this. Like, so there's a guy I know. I mean, I know lots of kinds of people. So he's one of those dudes. He's like sort of like a groovy guru, and he's all about love, and he has his own podcast. And I won't say anything more about that. I want make fun of the guy per se, but this guy every year he's going through like a detox of some kind.
Mm-hmm.
So like this is like a very routine thing where like every year he like hits this point of like I need to detox and let go of my negative energies, and he's kind of like like I said, like a hippie dude. He's like the boy version of like the crystal chicks, and so this is like a very routine thing for him where he'll have post this big long like stuff on Instagram, on his all social media accounts about how he's like letting go of the negative energies and he's releasing what's holding him back and personal limitations, and he's like discovering ever new higher ways of loving, blah blah. And I realized at a certain point of knowing the guy, I'm like, a lot of it's just kind of this contrived bullshit.
Yeah.
Where if you're truly a healthy individual as a man and you're focused and you're building a life that has some victory experience to it, you don't need to fucking detox yourself every 6 to 12 months because you're held back by limitations of energetic expression, whatever fucking terminology you want to contrive.
Yeah.
But there's I must say cult of personality. That there's a cult of thinking that accompanies that, where your premises of how you operate, like they can become your limitations. Absolutely, 100%. Obviously, people are your beliefs define your reality. But I've seen that kind of in the modern era where people they get caught into something. They get caught into maybe it's the hippie shit. Maybe it's being really into this idea that there's secret truths to the world and everything's esoteric and nothing that is presented in front of us has any level of like actual truth to it. Like we have to search for alternative sources.
It's all fake.
Yeah, and in some cases,
fake.
Yeah, like everything's fake basically. It's like the conspiracy view. Like everything's fake. So like like the real truth is this and the real truth is that. And you feel very smart because you think you figured something out that no one else has figured out. You'll feel smart. But the reality is you're living in your own world of fantasy at that point.
Mm-hmm.
And again, you can be living in this world that you think is in alignment with like the what is the absolute facts of or like the secret truths have been hidden. But again, like a lot of it's just bullshit, and you can still be completely fucking unsuccessful and be maybe not living in your parents' basement per se, but you can still be financially struggling, still be not really getting by, and still have nothing really to show for yourself in life. So, but that's kind of him. Like he kind of manages to scrape by a living, and despite having all these like fluffy fucking podcasts and posts and all this shit, where you think this guy's like fucking what's the Indian term? Not a guru.
Attracts all the wealth possible. Attracts everything perfectly into his life.
Yeah, like the term escapes me for it. It's a not guru. It's a different term, like an Indian. Not fuck. What is it? I need to brush my Indian bullshit. Anyway, but yeah, so you can think you're like a fucking. You can think you're a groovy guru, basically, as one of my dad's friends calls it. But in reality, you're just a shite like everybody else.
We'll just go off from right here. This is the continuation of the last Arthaus with Alexander Cortes. Due to Thailand-based technical issues and OBS-based audio issues on my end, we were not able to complete the cast on last time. But we're gonna close things up here, talking about the Rich Piana coronavirus connection. Very famed esoteric bodybuilding connection to this pandemic. So starting off, fucking Rich Piana, man,
Yeah, there's no real connection to the coronavirus.
No, not at all.
No, it's absolutely zero.
All right, how about this? What do you think he'd be doing right now if coronavirus, if this whole thing's happening? Like, how do you think he would be like dealing with no gyms?
Rich, I'm sure, would find a way. Like, Rich had enough money where he'd be the guy that just would order a bunch of shit for his house.
Yeah.
And he'd be up morning them, hey, babe, let's go, get it in and kill it. Like, he'd find a fucking way. I remember yesterday, the word I was looking for was Swami. So Swami is like an ascended teacher within, certain Hindu aesthetic traditions. And Rich was kind of like a bodybuilding Swami that way. His personality.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm sure he'd be producing videos still daily and blessing the timeline with his presence in some form or another, and getting shit on for it. But that's such is life when you're a character.
That brings us to an interesting point that I think we can loop into this. Your content, right? You are a very, very prolific content creator. Historically, you're a very prolific guy. You write, you were the 3 times a day, every day email guy. You
Yep,
did.
I remember.
Now you're back to like daily. You make loads of products on Gumroad, loads of programs and stuff. You tweet a lot. Like, it seems like your strategy is just output rather than like trying to focus on creating one big masterwork.
Yeah, I take like the flood approach, like scorched earth approach, where everyone is different in their personality. Some people like very careful in what they create, and they'll spend lots of time crafting an article. And there certainly have been things I've spent an inordinate amount of time on. There's been articles, there've been even products where it's something that might have taken like quite a few days or a few weeks to like really perfect or at least optimize. But I've always been of the mindset that when you look at, say, like great men throughout history who are considered to be very learned and very educated and very insightful, they produced a lot. You look at someone, let's say, like Isaac Asimov. So he wrote the iRobot series, Foundation series, one of my favorite science fiction authors. Asimov, I think, wrote something like around 500 books in his lifetime. An insane number of books. He was always writing. He was also a teacher as well. He was always producing something. You look at guys, let's go back like Aristotle. Like I'm not going to be a dumbass. I'm like Aristotle, but Aristotle obviously was super influential. Probably like one of the forefathers of like Western world. How many scrolls did he write? How many lectures did he give? So it's just a common theme I think you see with any man who's sort of successful and applies his will to the world, where they're always working on something. And the internet honestly just makes it incredibly easy. You can produce something and immediately put it out for public consumption. And I don't worry so much day to day about like whether I'm improving or not. I've never been in that mindset. Like, am I getting better? Like, I really don't question anything I do. I just keep doing something over and over and over and over and over again. And sort of by default, it's going to get better with time. The stuff I produce today is better than stuff I did 3 or 4 or 5 years ago. And training's the same way. The way I would train someone today would not be the same as 10 years ago. If you do anything for long enough and you are evolution minded, it's always going to get better. So, like, why would you not sort of like tap into that power, so to speak?
Yeah,
that's why we were kind of talking about that yesterday with like guys today, and sort of like the over prioritization of like the big brain theorizing, where you can think you're very, very smart by means of your consumption, but if you're not producing anything, number one, who gives a fuck? Number two, you're not really living either.
No, because experiencing, you have to experience and you have to do, right? You have to take in and you have to put out. And if you're just producing and you're not taking in anything, and then your work over time could get, if you're not like thinking about it and like theorizing, your work could get one note, because you're not taking in new information, synthesizing new ideas, thinking about how you could do that. But if you're just consuming, obviously, then you're not even doing anything. There's no way for you to even make a mark on the world at all. Producing is how change happens, which seems straightforward, but a lot of people just don't conceptualize it that way.
There's definitely an acquisition process to learning. Like, obviously, there's times when you need to literally just read something and read it, or watch something, or so on and so forth. Like that, the acquisition has its role, but the production, or just like the action application part, but that's where it really proves itself out.
Yeah.
I don't think consumption is in a way sort of a passive process. That's why I think it's difficult to do oftentimes. Like even something like even studying. There's 1,000 YouTube videos on like how to study better. Like, why is studying so difficult for so many people? There's an element to it. Like I said, it's passivity. Like, you're sitting there, you're taking in information. That gets very, very, very tedious very quickly. It's not, and then again, it's not until you really go to actually apply it, recall it, use it, do you even know whether you really learned anything. How many people can you talk to that went to college and they'll readily tell you like they got X degree and they don't remember 95% of it? And it wasn't until they got to the job that anything even made sense. Like, that's a very, very common sentiment. Like, doctors will tell you that.
Oh yeah, well they learn more in their 1 week on the internship than they did for their 4 years, reading the textbooks.
Yeah, which that probably speaks to the deficits in modern education versus like education being bad. You know, like I've become very anti-college, not because I think college as a concept is stupid, but the way it's implemented today is just deeply fucking flawed.
Yeah.
What it started as and what you're into are two very different things. But yeah, but for the younger guys just in general, even the older men who kind of there's a lot of men today that live in their head. They live in their head and they have a sort of mundane, very routine existence where nothing really changes too much. It's very static. And this probably the Corona thing was probably the event that's going to snap people out. That if there's anything that will do that.
Yeah, you made a tweet a bit earlier where you said that there's gonna be a small minority that are never gonna come out of their homes again. They're gonna be pure recluse.
Yeah, well, definitely. I see it kind of going a few ways, but like I think what you'll see post lockdown when it kind of ends, hopefully it's in May or June, whenever. But you'll see people. There'll be a segment of people where they just go fucking wild.
Mm-hmm.
They throw caution to the wind, fuck masks. They want to party. They want to go out. They want to meet people. There's going to be some percentage that's just they want to live. Like they're going all this Corona shit's going to make them realize the shortness of life. Like they want to go live.
Mm-hmm.
And they're not going to give a flying fuck about safety standards, and they're not even going to care if the pandemic comes back. Like you'll see that. You'll see people where they're wringing their hands and they're fucking worried, and they want to keep wearing masks, and they want to, obsess over sanitization.
Yeah.
And for them, this is going to be sort of like a way to like tyrannize people. Then you're going to see the people where they're going to be like, you know what, I'm going to fuck whether it comes back and kills a million people. Like I can't take this shit anymore. Fuck it.
Right.
Like
once you get a little taste of freedom back, it's like, all right, never going back. Nope. Fuck this.
Yeah, no, that's gonna happen. It's gonna be like a weird social shift too. You'll see that where it'll be like community based. There'll be some states. There'll be online too, where there's people online will be like, you know what? Maybe it will spike again in November. Don't give a shit. Let it fucking spike.
Mm-hmm.
Like we can't do this again. They're gonna see people where, depending upon their ideological propensities, this is going to be a way for them to like exert control upon others. Like, no, how dare you? Don't you care that people are going to die? We need to keep fucking, whatever the fuck, destroying our fucking lives and staying inside our houses.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting.
Yeah, and then there's gonna be like I think it's gonna like, there's gonna be the pathways that shoot out. We're all on this one track right now, which is just staying inside doing nothing, and then immediately when the gates are open, we're all gonna go different directions. Some are just gonna stay inside. Some are gonna go out. Some are gonna be really thankful with their life that they have. Wow, I'm so glad I have this job that can provide for my family and do all this stuff. And they're gonna want to go back and rejoin. But yeah, it's gonna be weird with all the different little factions that are gonna come out of this.
Yeah, it will. Yeah, like you just said, it'll be like what's called what's the term, like Bitcoinization. The Bitcoiners always use. Basically, it'll be a fractionalization of this like the world more than it already is.
Yeah, and not just ideological lines, but so there's there's the whole diversity thing. And there's ideological lines, and there's going to be opinion on pandemic, right? Your reaction to this pandemic.
It's going to be something else to tribalize over.
Yeah. So I mean, that's predictable, but it's going to be interesting to see that just kind of form in the real world.
Life. Yeah, it'll be lifestyle post Corona.
It's interesting to when you just as a concept when you're thinking you have all these ideas about how something's going to play out 3, 6, 9 months, whatever, and then you kind of just watch things unfold naturally, and you kind of if you're right, you get that sense of like, oh wow, like I predicted the future, I got that, like wow, like I have that's amazing, I'm so grateful. And then if you're wrong, right, then you kind of get this like, shit, like I don't know what I'm talking about, like I need to like readjust my models of how I think about the world.
Hopefully, or you just scream to avoid and insist that everyone's gone evil except you and your crew, like that. TDS basically is what that is.
Do you ever have to, like, when's the last time you have had to make like a big like shift in your models of thinking? Was there one, or was it kind of just like gradual stuff for you?
It's very gradual. Like I never quite know what people's perception of me truly is. Like, how can you know that? Like, and I also play a persona online. Mm-hmm. But I think it seemed to me perhaps sometimes that people have this assumption I must be like very egotistical with this in general in regards to like my attachments to things. I've never been someone that cares if I'm wrong or not too much. Like I'm always updating, my thinking that way.
Yeah.
So there's not too many. I don't know if I can really point to any beliefs that I hold on to now. I'm like, this has to be true. I can't change this. Like I've never had a fixated worldview that way.
Right.
There's just there's depending upon where you are in the world, life is always a bit different place to place. Probably my last, I could say, paradigm shifting moment was like when I left my job in 2016, like the gym I was working for,
Right.
I was going to work for myself. That was like a big mental shift where I knew, like, okay, like I'm committing to something. I'm not going back. Like I'm not going to be a fucking normie ever again. I'm not going to be an employee.
Yeah.
I'm never going to have a boss like that. That was like a very hard and fast sort of oath I swore. Like, all right, this is my new life. There's my life before this. There's my life after this. So like that was a big change. But in the past few years, it's been interesting to see just how flexible reality is. Honestly, yeah, everybody wants like some sort of narrative they can follow that's going to assure them of like what is true and certainty. I don't really endorse that at all. Like if you want certainty, you have to make your own life as like resilient as it possibly can be.
You're the only person that can make the certainty.
Yeah. You call it anti-fragile, but like I know that I can control I can control my personal space. I can control my business. Obviously anyone can lose their job anytime. There's always those arguments like, I've gotten this for years now. It's like, well, you work online. What if you got kicked off, Twitter? I'm like, what if I did? That actually happened. I had plans for it. Like, well, what if the internet went fucking away? What if, what if something happened that took away your ability to produce, your livelihood? But you could say about fucking any job, anything that anyone does. Is there anything that's truly completely 100% resistant to everything? What if, I'm just trying to think of something ridiculous. What if you're a hedge fund manager and the banks got closed down, and then like let's say like you had $1 billion, and then like the economy collapses and you can't go get your money, and there's a run on the bank, and there's an EMP blast and it takes out the internet, and now you're poor. It's like, yeah, in a hypothetical world, everyone can be reduced down to like fucking killing each other with like sharp sticks and like living in a fucking hut, and like you have nothing. Like you can always come up with some scenario where somehow that happens to you. Like no shit, really. What if you owned 1,000 real estate units, but then you got trapped in your house because there was like a flood and there's no internet, and then like fucking hurt like a bug slug.
Yeah.
And then like, I mean, you get my point. Like
China invades and nukes the coast and everybody dies.
Yeah, you can come up with so many contrived fucking situations to argue that somebody is not really free and they're not really independent. Yeah, I've seen this pessimistic attitude at times. I always just laugh at it. I'm like, okay, so you can. So a fucking meteor could show up in the fucking solar system like tomorrow. It's like, oh, it's gonna hit Earth. We're all gonna die. Life is meaningless, or maybe it means something. Who knows? Who gives a shit?
It's one of those things that just makes you realize that nobody, like you can only listen to yourself at the end of the day when it comes.
Yeah, exactly.
You have to just.
That's a better point. That's a better point than what I was making.
You have to just listen to yourself and be like, all right, do I want this? Do I like this? No. Do I need? Is this what I'm going to do? Okay, I'm going to go do it. And then you just do it. And then if whatever people say, whatever people try to hold you against, you do what you need to do to make sure that doesn't happen.
Yeah, no, that's a great point. That's better than the point I was making. Listen to yourself. Design your own lifestyle how you want, and be as free as you can be. Yeah, if you have that, and to do that, you have to be pretty adaptable. I don't know that you could. I would say you can't. And anyone that today that has like location independence, that has income independence, that works for themselves, anyone that has a business today that survives this and actually thrives, you're pretty tough. Like I would argue those people have life figured out to a very high level.
Oh, definitely.
If you got that, that's fucking awesome. Keep doing your thing. If you don't have that, try and create that. Yeah, I generally feel bad for everybody that got fucked with this because like it's going to be 30% unemployment, and a lot of people that thought they had reliable jobs, they don't.
Yeah.
They thought they had a business, they don't. And it was, you can call it an act of God, but like, goddamn, is that a harsh fucking reality check?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Now, for some reason, this thought just popped in my head. What is with? I don't know how it came in here. What is with your Instagram questions and just having these guys ask you like the worst quality questions possible? Like every time I go through your AMA, you're just like, like half of them you're responding with just a troll because like their question is just way too unbelievably stupid for you to even like formulate an answer.
I mean, there's two ways to look at this. One, you could say maybe my Instagram feed is just stupidity, so I attract stupid people. But yeah, that could be it. Maybe it's entirely my fault. At the same time, like I know I incentivize it at times. It's also like I said before. It's made me realize that a lot of young guys today, they just they've had no male role models. It was not even not even that. It's not even that they haven't had male role models. That's cliche. Like, oh, men today don't have fathers. We all know that. The problem I've realized today is that a lot of young people, they just have had no real fucking education. They've been taught bullshit. They haven't been taught how to think. They have not been taught how to learn. So when they encounter somebody that's an authority figure, they just ask dumb shit. Like they just flat out they do. And I've seen this with other people that you think have like smart audiences where, let's say like someone like Sam Harris, like, oh, big brain fucking Sam Harris, who's a fucking dork. Philosopher and neo-atheist bullshit. Go to like the Sam Harris's feed and anything. You'll see people with tons of fucking questions just like asking Sam Harris, like, Sam Harris, how do I live my life? Sam Harris, what do you think about this obscure fucking thing I read? Sam Harris, I'm like, anyone that's in any kind of position of intellectual authority, you're just gonna get fucking questions. And because my audience is a lot of younger guys where when you're under the age of 25 and you're a man, like you're pretty fucking dumb. Like even the smart guys at that age are fucking stupid because you just don't have the life experience to have any kind of real perspective on so many areas. And that's okay. That's okay. But you'll get these fucking questions and I just fucking laugh at the questions. And to be real, like a lot of the ones that are dumb, I ignore about 80% of them. I've had guys ask the most just flat out retarded shit.
I gotta find I'm listening to you, but I have to. I took a screenshot of the stupidest one I've ever seen.
Go ahead.
I gotta find. I know. Keep talking because I gotta find this.
Yeah. No, and a lot of it, like, I mean, I'm gonna be like a racist right now. A lot of it's like probably about like a quarter of them to half of them are Indian guys. And I really is Indian dudes. Like India is it's such a different country from Western world, but it's also globalized.
Yeah.
So Indian guys, they like grow up in India, but they get exposed to global culture, and they realize like there's this very big gap between being a male in India versus like being a man like in the world, and they kind of like have a sense for it. Then they'll ask this dumb shit. Like
I think I saw a tier. It was like a tier list of like men dating or something like that. It's like fit white guy, blah blah blah, a bunch of stuff, and then the very very bottom it was Indian man with Indian accent.
Yeah, I mean it's just I'm being it's mean, but it's true. Where they got no fucking game, and the culture it's such a traditional culture that you can have no game and be a fucking dweeb, and you can still get married and get a wife because they'll probably be like an arranged marriage, like your parents will kind of find. And the women, like, they look for that too. It's not like the women are, I mean, all women are women everywhere.
Yeah.
But the women deal with what they got that way.
All right, I found the question.
Problem is,
I found the question. There you go. So the question is, all right, you guys can kind of see it, maybe. No, it's too.
Maybe not.
So the question is, a jerk thinking he the shit, one word, bullied my little nephew, and my uncle wants to kill that MF ... And you responded with, bro, what third world shit is this? Carry a machete and try not to die. I don't know what the fuck to tell you guys when I get these questions. And that was...
I think that guy that asked that was like living in Turkey though. Some of the questions I get from the guys in the Middle East are just fucking hysterical sometimes. It'll be that kind of shit where it's just like, maybe you need to go assault the guy. I don't know. I'm not telling you to go get arrested. But
yeah, like I don't know your customs. Like what?
Yeah, I don't know your customs or culture. I'm not even sure what the hell to tell you. So maybe you just do need to go like get a machete and take care of business.
Jeez.
But what was the point I was making? But so I think it was actually Rational Male. Rollo made this point. It was a good point. Like, I don't want to get into talking about Rollo, but it was a good point he made where he's talking about the global sexual marketplace where because women today, every chick has Instagram, like every girl has IG. Not every girl, but most women everywhere have IG. They got social media. So they can get online and they can like look at other dudes from other cultures basically. So they can look at rich guys. They can look at rich white guys. They can look at like, maybe you live in Africa and you can like, if you're a black chick, you can find like the rich Nigerian boys who got money.
Mm-hmm.
So all women today, they can see these guys, let's say like they're fit, they're hot, they're in shape. They can thirst on them. These dudes are buff, tan, jacked, whatever. They can find these men that, let's just say like, they can find the men who are the 8, 9, 10s, the alphas. They can go see those online and be like, oh, I want that kind of guy. But then they can look around like their fucking village and be like, oh, wow, like there's a big fucking difference between like, this 6 foot, star dude with abs versus like these fucking hapless people, like motherfuckers here in like my village. And like, and then every girl wants to think she can kind of get that guy. So
yeah,
my meta point being though, like
it works. I think it works both ways too. Like there's like with the whole OnlyFans thing, like the dude, like they don't want to look around their immediate area. They just want to like they look online and they're like big tip model. That's my life.
Yeah, I mean, look, that's a whole fucking portal to hell there. But no, that's true. So yeah, but you have like on both ways. You got guys that can look at hot girls and they think that that's like whether it's Instagram or OnlyFans, you guys that can follow these chicks and they can think that that's like a real woman. The woman can follow men and think that's a real man, and it makes for a lot of discontent. The best thing you can do as a guy is to make yourself as sexually, professionally competitive as possible. You have to do that for yourself. Have to.
I mean, freaking yeah. You have to just like you have to break free of the whole fake relationships, fake perceptions, fake. Everything is fake. Everything, the whole social media, it's a facade in terms of people living their best life, people posting edited photos, people not knowing the difference between a physique that is enhanced and a physique that is not. Little things like that can just add up and just distort. You're viewing that for months and months and years, then your whole perception on like what is actually hot, what is actually like a good person, what is actually an easy to obtain physique, that sort of thing just gets wholly fucked up.
Yeah, well, everything's a stage, and the netty or not shit cracks me up. But it's good. I've seen that now too, which it's a weird thing. It's a strange assumption where everybody's on steroids. It's like the assumption of like, oh, that dude, he's on steroids. But at the same time, there's sort of like this degradation and like criticism towards hard work in general. Like not everybody's on steroids. But then also at the same time, there's lots of dudes that are clearly enhanced and they lie about being natty.
Yeah.
And I've seen that too, where it's like, bro, just say you're fucking juiced up. Like there's no way in God's earth you're 20 years old or 22 or 25. Like stuff the stuff I see today. And I mean, God, there's just so many now.
You
so
get Greg Doucette on their ass going, they're natty! They're not natty!
Yeah, well, guys just don't realize, like, you can be on, like, 200 milligrams of testosterone a week. Like, you can take a low dose of testosterone that's not crazy, 200, 300, 400 milligrams, and you'll look kind of at, like, the edge of being like, I think he's natural because he's not that big. But at the same time, the dude's, like, 225 with 6% body fat. You're like, there's no way in God's fucking earth, dude, that you're 225 with 6% body fat and you're 22 and you've been lifting 3 years. Like that, just don't bullshit people.
Yeah.
But whatever. Just take steroids, honestly. Just everybody just take steroids.
Yeah.
Or don't take steroids. I don't give a shit. But
honestly, yeah. Honestly, do what you want. Do what you want. It doesn't do anything. Alexander, do you have anything you'd like to close off on? Do you have a topic you'd like to end on? Close the loop with?
I mean, not particularly. Like, the one thing I'd implore everybody, all the guys during this time, I've seen these fucking memes, this argument going back and forth online now. Should you take this time to like work on yourself, or is this really a time for improvement, or don't feel bad if you're not improving, or if you're depressed or anxious? I'm like, fuck all that fucking sad boy bullshit. Okay, everyone's locked in their fucking house. I don't care who the fuck you are. Everybody's locked in their fucking house. There's nothing else to do but fucking read books and fucking work out. Okay, like if you do nothing else, just fucking do those two things. God knows I have enough fucking training solutions at this point. Like I've probably written like 5 or 6 things where I'm like, you got fucking a chin-up bar and pull-up bar, do this. You got fucking rings, do this. I've got fucking so many goddamn procs now and free shit for everyone to fucking utilize. Like go do fucking something. Do not be that guy. And this is gonna be most people. I know it is because the normie dudes I follow are already fucking talking about their sad bullshit fucking pathetic lives of like where you're doing all this shit. You're doing nothing but eating all fucking day and watching Netflix and you're sad and you have anxiety, like unfuck yourself, Jesus Christ. Okay, push-ups are free, bodyweight squats are free, burpees are fucking free. You can get yourself tired. You can sweat every day. If you do that, you know what? You'll come out of it. Maybe you lost some muscle strength because you couldn't lift weights. Who gives a shit? You'll be leaner. You'll be meaner. You'll be ready to get back to living life. Okay, anyone that comes out of this like a fat fuck, like go fuck yourself, you fat pieces of shit. Okay, like fucking pathetic. Honestly, like just like I mean, I don't have any actual friends like that because I can't stand those fucking people. Like if you got fat during quarantine, like screw you. Like I hope you get the virus in fucking November. Okay, you fucking sad sacks of shit. Like I fucking hate that attitude with such a passion. I can't even express it to you.
There's always something you can do. There's always something you can do to get better. Maybe that's definitely like some people are like my revenue is up 50% and I have 5 new kids and I'm doing 300 pull-ups a day, and you don't have to do that. Like you if you just work out a bit, you get make a little bit progress on that book. Maybe you do a little stuff on your side. You just do a little stuff as you can. Like you're going forward still. That's it. That's all that matters.
I mean, if you're going to lose your house and you're about to get kicked out and shit hit the fan, like, I'm sorry, like, life is tough and times are hard, and here's your fucking Christmas card. If you're not going to get kicked out of your apartment, though, if you're not, let's just assume you're not going to get kicked out of your apartment, you can stay living there. Guess what? You can go, this is monk mode opportunity. You got probably still quite a few weeks left of being able to study and fucking upgrade yourself however the fuck you want that way.
Mm-hmm.
You really, really do. There's ever time. No, if there's ever time for anyone to be autodidactic and actually like try to fucking teach themselves things, now is the fucking time. Now's the time.
Right.
All the other psychological shit that people have to talk about and you can get into, that's great and fine, and we all got problems, and I don't give a fuck at this point because everyone, you figure that yourself. But you can still read books, you can still fucking watch YouTube videos, you can do push-ups. I've learned so much the past few weeks of being on fucking even using YouTube. I never used YouTube before. I was not really a YouTube watcher. Now I'm fucking watching videos and fucking fight techniques. I've been watching fucking videos on how to speak Thai. I've been fucking doing Thai lessons every day. I'm like, this is fucking awesome. Like and I would love to fucking leave and go do shit, but you know what? I can still fucking nourish my brain and my body with something.
Mm-hmm.
Versus the average person is probably just developing a goddamn sugar habit.
Exactly. So guys, we'll close off there. Alexander, it was great having you on. I hope all you viewers, all you little pesky little Arthaus viewers, hope you guys learned something.